So let me tell you something that someone told me. Shout out to Terry Thomas. She's another program director in Texas. She told me, in The Box too, by the way. She's a program director for Houston's The Box. It's a legendary radio station. She told me, or she asked me, how much I'm worth right now. And she said, your stock. Every media personality, any and everyone who has a business about themselves, you have a stock within yourself. Just as you will put in to Starbucks or Waffle House or Netflix, how much is your stock worth, especially in a time of quarantine? Because like I told you, it's really weird in quarantine. I'm not able to be as seen as I am when I'm hosting a club or different events because those aren't going on right now. Right. So how much are you worth currently when you're not being utilized? And that really made me think, and I'm like, damn, well, how can I raise my stock if I'm not booked 5 days out of the week? I can't have someone call me and I tell them, well, no, I'm charging $800 because. Well, why are you charging $800? I know you're not booked. You know you're not booked. So why are you charging me this amount of money? And I know I can charge a lot of money because I am still doing so much even though I'm not out with it at the moment. So that's something to think about too when you're worried about your network and reaching out to people. You might want to calm down on reaching out to the big people until your stock raises because you don't want them to treat you like your McDonald's when you want to be treated like chick motherfucking filet.
That's a whole,
you got to check your stock.
That's a whole message. Welcome to Ladies Room Live. Ladies Room Live is here to encourage women to unite, empower, and inspire globally. This episode, we have a media mogul, a mom, and a wife. Her name is Mo Quick. And after this commercial break, I'll be right back so you can meet her. Welcome to Ladies Room Live, Mo. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me, Chanel.
No problem, no problem. So you just have this amazing glow about you.
Oh, well, thank you.
You do have this amazing glow. I saw on your social media like some time back, and you were talking about, we're in this quarantine. Yeah. This quarantine is like never going to end. People can't stay away from their refrigerators. Yeah. I was one that had to like literally start going outside, start working out, but I'm still kind of like hooked to my refrigerator, So how is it being in the quarantine and then Ramadan starting and, also finishing throughout this time?
Girl, I'm going to be honest with you. During this quarantine, lots have started and lots have finished. I would like to thank Ramadan for helping me get away from that fridge. Because at the beginning, I'm sure a lot of us had many issues just staying in the house. And you're just in this little space. What am I going to do?
Eat.
I got to eat. What else am I going to do? Like, are you crazy? So God was like, just chill out. For anybody who doesn't know about Ramadan, it's a Muslim holy month. 30 days, 30 nights. We don't eat during the day. We don't swear, listen to music, watch TV. I mean, it's a cleansing, not just only away from food, but it's something to get your spirit back on track. We don't really believe that the world is true. We're here, but this is all fake. Everything you see around you, it'll be gone in 2 seconds. And as much as we think we have to like stay here and live in this world one day, we won't be here. And we have to make sure we're preparing to leave while we're still here. So that's what Ramadan's all about. It's been amazing. During quarantine, it's been so easy. Because when we're not in quarantine, it's everything you could think of you're not supposed to be doing. You're riding by McDonald's, you're walking past a club, you got alcohol everywhere. But in quarantine, the only thing that I want around me is things I want around me. And that's that I can control my home. That's the space that I'm actually able to control. So it's been awesome. Quarantine sucks, but it's great for Ramadan. Yeah. I don't know what else is great for, but it's great for Ramadan.
Does quarantine really suck though?
Depends. I suppose so you ask. To me, yeah. It does.
So it seems like you, well, not even just you, but just the Muslim community in the whole, they great, they gained so much appreciation for for life and the small and the big things due to Ramadan and fasting. So let's just talk about that a little bit more. Did you grow up within the religion?
Yeah, I actually started, I was told when I was 2, that's when my dad converted, but obviously I don't remember. So everything I've always known is Islam. It's a very humble religion. It's a very calming religion. You know, it keeps you centered. And sometimes because the world is a lot, we look forward to Ramadan so that we can just circle back to what really matters, because you can get really caught up in this world.
Yeah. I've always been very intrigued by the religion as well.
It's really
I was
dope.
exposed to the religion when I was, I think I was 6.
Oh, wow. With
Yeah.
dad, mom,
No, no,
stepmom?
no. My mom's best friend, she married into the religion. It was her second marriage, and she converted. So we used to go to mosque with
Yeah.
her. She was like my
Y'all
mom.
went with her and
We
y'all
went
wasn't
with-
even Muslim? Shout out to y'all.
Yeah, my mom allowed us. My dad was away on military a lot, but my mom's allowed us.
Y'all daddy didn't like that, did it?
I don't really, honestly, I don't really even know. I don't
Really?
know. Like, we lived in Texas at this time. So we lived, and my family's from Florida. So we lived far away from my family.
Was it the base? Why were y'all in Texas?
My dad was stationed in Texas.
Okay.
So that was like my mom's sister. So when my mom, my mom would watch her son when she needed a break, and then she would watch us. And like, my mom trusted her. So she knew that, you know, she was bringing us wherever she was bringing us, we would still be safe. And I just remember just at a young age being exposed to it, and it always just really sat with me. So, you know, growing up and you see like amazing leaders like Malcolm X and you watch that story, or like Muhammad Ali, and you like indulge in that story and you see the dedication that someone brought to a religion, it makes you just look at, you know, regular people like you and me, how they just dedicate themselves. Because I think, you know, it's a little bit easier when you are on a higher platform and, you know, you have people under you working for you and around you for you to dedicate certain times. But I think it's a lot difficult to do it when, you know, you're just an everyday person and you have to go to work and you have to find time to like set aside and pray.
You don't think it'll be harder if you have more things at your disposal to be less humble?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think if you grow up in it, I think it's probably tempting, but I feel like it probably gets a little bit easier the more that you're dedicated to a cause.
Yeah. Are you religious? Do you have a religion?
I'm Christian.
Okay. Do you find that being a Christian is difficult when trying to live your regular life?
You know, look at the interviewer becoming the interviewee. I like it. When I was younger, I felt like I had to go through this like religious journey to really find out what I believed, because I come from a super religious family, like going to church almost every single day, if not every single day, especially when I lived around like my grandparents, like in the country where my family lives on my mom's side. So I went through my own path, just trying to figure out what I believe outside of what I was taught.
Yeah.
But then once I like found that, I feel like it's easy to just dedicate myself to something, because I know I've already been kind of like tested and I found God on my own.
Yeah, that's the beautiful part, because when somebody tells you, you're like, okay, yeah, I get it. And then you're more likely to stray away unless you actually read it and digest it for yourself. Because when we grow up, we become different people than when we were kids.
And you know, when them trials and tribulations actually really like hit you, and God has to really like strip you. God stripped me of a lot of things.
All of us, girl.
Yeah, when God really strips you of something, and then you have to like sit and like cry about what you had, or however you may take it at that particular time, and then you find this whole new life that you're so grateful for, and you realize, you know what, all these little things that I thought, you know, meant the world, that I couldn't live without, I know that I now can live with nothing and still be so happy.
Girl, you better make me stomp my little feet, girl. They gonna be on the ground.
Stomp them. So you're from Georgia, mom and dad, right?
Well, I'm from Georgia, and I have a mom and dad. But no, they ain't from Georgia.
What is that?
My mom is from Cali. My dad's from New York. They met here in Atlanta when both of their parents moved here.
Oh, okay. So they kind of grew up here.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
made you a Southern belle?
I wouldn't call me a Southern belle, but I am Southern.
You do have a strong demeanor about you, and I like that. I
Is
saw.
that what bells are? Honestly, I don't really
No, no,
get that.
no, 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 no. I wasn't really saying in a relation to being a belle, but I was just saying you do
Okay.
have like a strongness about you, and it could be from your mother being from Cali, your dad being from New York, and then you kind of like mixing it all in with the southernness.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
that.
and because I'm second oldest of like 14 kids, and counting. My dad, he's had multiple wives, so it's kind of crazy. But that has a lot to do with my personality because I've been, sit, get up, take your bath out, take your water out. Blah, blah, blah. I've always been in control of something, so I'm very like,
Structured it
yeah,
within that.
and I'm able to articulate what I need from people without fearing that they'll think I'm a bitch or they'll think I'm too headstrong. I don't care about that stuff. I just need the job to get done, so I just carry it.
You carry it really well.
Thank you.
So let's segue and go straight into the entertainment field. When did you know that you wanted to be a radio personality?
Oh, great question. I love that question. My uncle Nate Quick, last name, great name. He used to be on the radio. He passed away my freshman year in college.
Wow.
But the summer of my freshman year in college, when I was a senior in high school, I went to go visit him in Dallas. He did radio in Texas. And when I saw his lifestyle, I wanted to be a political science major. I wanted to be an ambassador. I wanted to go to different countries and talk for the U.S. But when I saw his lifestyle, I was like, I got to do what you do. And I went to his job. He was on the mic. I saw him like talk to me, tell me to hold on, hop onto the mic, and then come right back to me. And I was like, wow, I'm amazed. And ever since then, I was like, Uncle Nate, tell me, what do I have to do? What's the best way to get where you are? He gave me a little roadmap, and I followed it. And before I knew it, I was doing number one. Backstory, I used to be a morning drive personality at a local radio station here, and we were number one consistently. But I know it was everything Uncle Nate taught me to just like make me that powerhouse, like get the job done in order and on time. Like I just turned 28 in December.
Happy birthday, belated.
Super belated. We almost in June.
It's
but,
cool. But you know, so many people couldn't celebrate their birthdays, and they're celebrating their birthdays
so
within
sad,
the quarantine.
right?
But
oh my God, I felt so bad for all these little drive around birthdays I done seen.
really,
Girl, it's so
I kind
sad.
of like them.
If you didn't already plan your party, my sister's birthday was April 10th. She had already got the cake. She had already paid the event space, the DJs, and then quarantine happened. So right around is cool if you didn't already plan your party. But
I
that's
just like
neither
it
here
because
nor
it
there.
just brought people closer around their like close friends and family, and I think so much we get so caught up in people that we don't know, that are
What do you
not really
mean?
like close to us.
Oh,
just
I
in the
see,
everyday living.
associates.
Yeah, in the everyday living, and like the
Yeah.
quarantine has really like brought you close to like the everyday people that
Yeah.
are around you, your true circle.
Yeah, you're right, absolutely. And then during the quarantine, you find out who isn't in your true circle.
Yeah.
And who's
And
the
you're okay
actual
with it.
associated. And
You're
you're
like
okay.
okay with
You got
it.
so much stuff. It's funny because quarantine has made me more busy. Has that happened to you?
Yeah.
Like first, I'm just coasting through life, and then when quarantine came, and I couldn't really do the things that keep me active or keep me known, I guess you would say, I found other things to do, and then
Yeah.
I became so crazy busy. Like, I don't know, I guess it's like good and bad.
You got to assign yourself to be busy on a particular thing that you want to be busy on, because then you'll get lost, I feel like, within the quarantine.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're not essential.
Well,
like
yeah, one of the
essential
workers.
workers,
Yeah. Because you just
yeah.
have all that free time. You're like, what do I do now? Back to the
know.
fridge.
Pick up something. But yeah, go back to Uncle Nate.
Uncle Nate was awesome. I honestly feel like without him, I'd be like a lawyer or something. That's what I was going for. I'm a great arguer, girl. Poor husband. You can't never win nothing. So I really feel like I would have been a lawyer. And somehow radio is just really easy. Like I just picked it up and people were like, oh my God, you have a great voice. Oh my God, you really get it. And I just kept working. It just worked.
It's the power of exposure, though.
What do you mean?
The power of exposure, like once you don't really know what you know until you're actually exposed to it, and then it hits you in a different way, and that's how you like really realize what your calling is.
Yeah, that's so true. Like in school, I went to Fort Valley, love my HBCUs, fam, shout out to you. I really appreciate the fact that they make you do things. Like, I never thought to pick up a camera, but they put me in a photography class. You know, I never really thought to do a lot of things, but college, in case anyone's thinking about should I or shouldn't I go, I would say go, because you are exposed to so much you wouldn't normally be exposed to.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't really go into these paths if someone didn't sort of push you there.
Yeah, it's like contained, structured exposure.
Yeah.
So you get that. So Uncle Nate exposed you to the radio industry, and then you just kind of like took off flying. I know before you got into this big market of Atlanta, you was in Cleveland at a bigger radio station. So let's talk about some of the things that you learned from being there.
Okay, that's a great place to start. And I actually started here in Atlanta, and then I went to Cleveland, and then I came back. Sometimes you have to go to a smaller market in order to get your foot into that bigger market. When I was here, I was doing a lot of free work. Shout out to any and everybody who knows about doing things for free. Sometimes you have to show them that you're able to do it before they pay you to do it.
And willing to do it.
And willing and able, which is better than willing, because a lot of people are great at helping even if they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So I was interning at V103, Hot 107.9, Kiss 104.1. I was interning in WPQ something and making intern at every radio station I can get my hands on. I did that from my freshman year all the way into my junior year, and by my senior year I got a job in Cleveland, and I just left school. I did not finish. I still haven't finished school, by the way. I just have like maybe 8 credits to go. I have a girlfriend, and
that's her same story, though.
Because once you get going, and
you're
then
doing all this,
I
just
can't
to get the job.
Back into school. What am I going to school for? Yeah. Aren't you going to school to get a job, right? Well, I got one, so why am I still in school? So I literally left school and went to Cleveland. I was working with Bill Black. Shout out to Bill. I love you. I thank you for my job. I was interning for him at Hot 107.9 before he got hired in Cleveland as the program director, and then he hired me. So he left, and then I left, and I followed him. And then he even got me hired back in Atlanta. He stayed in Cleveland, but J-Tech, shout out to J-Tech, love you too. That was his homeboy. So he just made a phone call and was like, hey, Mo wants to come back to Atlanta. I know you guys' radio station is hiring, hire her. He did, and I came back, and I was in the production room for a little while, and then I kept going back and forth to Steve, he's the owner, and I was like, hey man, you got to put me somewhere else. I need a show. You need to give me a show. I tried to get on Holiday Show. He had already had somebody. Tried to get on Bistro Show, and then from Bistro Show, they gave me the morning show. So that was great.
I like it. I like it. So what is one thing that you would say that you learned throughout all of that? What I got from it was just never stop, but then keep your eye on the goal. You want it to be on the radio, so don't get lost in the mix of not being on the radio.
Well, I would say the number one thing that I learned is to get a network and maintain that network. You know, it's great when you meet somebody, but if you never call them, you never text them, you never see them again, they will forget who you are. Yeah. And that opportunity that they could have given you, it would pass you because you're not maintaining that network. So I always moisturize my network like I moisturize my face at night.
If you had to give like 5 great things of moisturizing your network, what would it be? Go.
Number 1, check in. You got to check in with your network. If you don't check in, they're going to forget you.
Give us an example check-in.
A check-in. Hey, what's up, Bill? Man, this quarantine's crazy.
So keep it very basic.
That's it. You don't got to do no long. I was thinking about you, everything you did for me. I want to thank you. You might hear. Don't do the most. Just check in. What's up? I'm thinking about you, but don't say it. That's a little creepy. I'm thinking about you. I hope you're thinking about me too. Another great check-in is, hey, hello. Oh, nothing. What you doing? And no one's going to say, why are you calling me? Even if they're thinking that in their head. Why are they calling me? You just keep it cash and regular. Even if you feel nervous and stressed out about being random, just do it. You know, I have so many numbers of people. Terry Vaughn. Terry Vaughn was a woman who I looked up to for a very long time. Obviously, watching Steve Harvey, you see her. Going to these different film screenings, you see her on stage. She's hiring people, she's casting, she's directing.
She does. She has acting classes too.
She's teaching, and I met her once. She gave me her phone number. I didn't use it, and time went by, and I'm like, damn, I'm sure she doesn't even remember who I am. Then I saw her again. She gave me the same number she had already given me, and this time I'm like, I'm gonna use that number.
So did you reintroduce yourself?
I didn't have to. She remembered me, which is kind of crazy, but that doesn't always happen. Okay, guys, so don't think they're just gonna remember your ass. No, they won't. You must call, and you must just send a text. All I did was say, hey girl, the quarantine's crazy, isn't it? She said, why, yes, it is. And then the conversation continued. It's really great to have somebody that you want to connect with and connect. So number one, you got to check in. Number two, see how you can be useful to them. You know, I want to get hired at a radio station. I won't say any names. So what I do is I check in with the program director. Every week, I let them know new ideas that they can use in order to keep their station fresh in this quarantine. Are they going to use any? I have no idea. Am I getting paid for them? Hell no. But what I want you to know is that I am able, and you can utilize me whenever you're ready.
I like that.
I don't want to keep going with the long ass list, but it's so many things you can do to make sure you not only have a network, but you moisturize that network, and you make sure that you keep that network tight. Because if you don't, you'll lose it just as quickly as you got it.
I like it. You gave me 2, although I asked for 5, but the 2 that you gave me were very, very strong and solid. So I'm appreciative to it. Especially too, because it's like you're keeping yourself an asset. Yeah. Even if they use all of your ideas are free, you know? So with me, it's like
they shouldn't be though.
I know they shouldn't be.
Okay.
But at the moment that you're giving them to them,
you're allowing them to be.
You're allowing them to be free.
But
you're
don't feel like you can't charge for your ideas.
You definitely should charge for your ideas. We're all creators in this room. We all have to charge we all have to charge for our ideas. I get too excited and I start stumbling on my words, like, what's going on? But yeah, so I do like that you said plant yourself as an asset, because it's definitely something that we all should be doing, no matter where we are in life, because we all want to move up. We all want to go somewhere else and change place. We never should be too comfortable.
So let me tell you something that someone told me. Shout out to Terry Thomas. She's another program director in Texas. She told me, in The Box too, by the way. She's a program director for Houston's The Box. It's a legendary radio station. She told me, or she asked me, how much I'm worth right now. And she said, your stock. Every media personality, any and everyone who has a business about themselves, you have a stock within yourself. Just as you will put in to Starbucks or Waffle House or Netflix, how much is your stock worth, especially in a time of quarantine? Because like I told you, it's really weird in quarantine. I'm not able to be as seen as I am when I'm hosting a club or different events, because those aren't going on right now. Right. So how much are you worth currently when you're not being utilized? And that really made me think, and I'm like, damn, well, how can I raise my stock if I'm not booked 5 days out of the week? I can't have someone call me and I tell them, well, no, I'm charging $800 because. Well, why are you charging $800? I know you're not booked. You know you're not booked. So why are you charging me this amount of money? And I know I can charge a lot of money because I am still doing so much, even though I'm not out with it at the moment. So that's something to think about too. When you're worried about your network and reaching out to people, you might want to calm down on reaching out to the big people until your stock raises, because you don't want them to treat you like your McDonald's when you want to be treated like chick motherfucking filet. You got to check your stock. That's the
whole message.
Man, she's awesome. Shout out to Terry.
But she planted the seed and allowed you to think outside of the box, and you gave us this so we can think outside of the box, especially during this time.
Yes, keep watering them plants, period.
So being in Cleveland, you left Cleveland, came back to Atlanta. What did that do for you?
Blew me the cup.
Because you came back. You came back to Atlanta with a job. Like you left Atlanta, interning everywhere. You went to Cleveland, secured a job for a big network, came back to Atlanta with a job. So how did that make you feel, like being in a place where you're from, that made you, that shaped you? How did that make you feel?
Empowered, of course, very empowered. You want to think about things like the people who didn't hire you, the people who could have but chose not to. And now you're beating out all of their radio stations. Now you're single-handedly taking them down. And you're like, you should have hired me. So it makes you feel good. And I'm from here, so my cousins is calling me, my aunties is calling me, what I'm saying? It feels good. For sure.
What was the dynamic going straight into the radio station, being hired within that station?
Well, I was pregnant at the time, so the dynamic was not in my favor. Unfortunately, and I can say this in the ladies' room, they don't respect you when you have a belly. They assume either you're going to be tired or you're not going to be willing. I don't know what the hell their issue is with pregnant women, but I've even heard this from women working in insurance companies. It's a stigma around a woman once she gets pregnant. And it's not a good stigma. So the dynamic for me wasn't welcoming, but I didn't let it defeat me. I kept going and I kept working. And even after I had my first son, I came back in there with my head held high. I probably didn't look appealing. I'm sure, being in Atlanta, we have to look a certain way.
Yeah.
And as a pregnant woman, I'm walking around like this, getting up 5 seconds out the chair. It's not sexy. No one wants to hire that, but they didn't know I was pregnant. My secret began to show, and then they knew, and by then I was already hired. So what the y'all gonna do? So, you make it work for you.
So what are some of the trials and tribulations that you experienced that you had to push through and overcome?
Being pregnant.
Well, outside of that, them thinking that you were too tired and them not using you for certain things that you felt like you were able to do.
But at that moment, the issue with working for somebody is you can't make them see you for what you are. So sure, I did get pushed around, and no, I didn't get the things that I felt like I was supposed to get, but I didn't act on it. I just kept walking around or wobbling around, doing my thing.
So after the baby, were things a little bit better after that, or did you just not even worry about what was happening to you, just stayed focused on the goal, being on air?
The funny thing is, while I was on my maternity leave, I was getting calls to come back to work. They were like, "Are you done with your maternity leave?" And I'm like, wow, this whole time I thought y'all didn't even know I was in the building. And now you guys are calling me to come back to work. So when you work with your head down, that's the best way to work, because you don't know how much of an asset you are. When you're so worried about, what do they think of me? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? That's when you fall down, man.
And even being seen.
You just work with your head down and keep pushing no matter what. They see you. Even if don't nobody say nothing, they see you.
So how did you make the radio show a #1 show?
You know what? That happened after my second child. That happened after maternity #2. When you're on maternity, like quarantine, you have nothing to do, and you're in the house because where are you going to go? You have a newborn baby. So in my head, I'm like, okay, I left the show. We went down to 14 in my absence, and I'm like, dang, when I left, we were 8. So now what the f are we gonna do? We're an independent radio station. Our watts is not as big as everyone else's. We don't have the manpower, the money behind us. What the f am I gonna do to beat out Ricky, Frank, freaking Charlemagne, And I was like, okay, we should add another segment, and we should do this. And so I just started writing a little list of all the things that we should do. So when I came back, I was like, all right, let's go. And everybody was like, oh, I love that energy. And we just went all the way to #1.
So when you went on maternity leave for the second time, you knew you were an asset when it dropped from 8 to 14.
I didn't know until I came back and the numbers were shared with me. So I didn't know. When you're on maternity, all you thinking is, please don't nobody steal my job. Please don't nobody steal my job. You don't really know. When you're working with your head down, you don't really look around. You don't check the temperature of everybody. When you're working with your head down, you're dedicated and you don't really know. But when you find out, that's a strong power and it might inflate your head. So you just got to make sure you try to maintain your humbleness.
But you came back with so many plans and strategies to go back up. Something that a lot of people on the team wasn't.
Well, not to go back up, but I just wanted to be #1. The most we were ever, I think, #4. I was like, dang.
And you had goals to be number one.
That was the only goal. I didn't know we had dropped down to number 14. God dang. I didn't know we had a big old hill to climb. I just knew we'd never been number one before.
Yeah.
And I need that number one for me to feel complete.
So now that it hit number one and it stayed at number one, the number one numbers were shared with you, and now you're no longer there. How do you feel about going to another network and possibly hearing their numbers and knowing that you got to climb that ladder within that?
Well, again, working for somebody, it's never going to be in your favor. You know, even when you're winning, you're losing because you're not winning, they're winning, and you're helping them. You want to be able to hire yourself, but with a company. That's the goal.
Okay. What are some of the things that you wanted that would have kept you in your position that they weren't willing to give?
I wouldn't say they would even be able to. You know, sometimes you just outgrow a space. And sometimes you have to know when you have outgrown a space, because then I think we used that word before, you get comfortable and you don't even notice that I shouldn't be here anymore. I should be somewhere else where they can accommodate a talent such as yourself. You know, you gotta know when it's your time to move on. So I don't think they would have been able to, even if they used all their might and all their strength. Sometimes it just ain't gonna work out.
When did you realize it was time for you? When it hit number one?
No, hell no. I remember asking for my old job back.
I was
no, girl. I was in production before I started the morning show.
Yeah.
I remember going to my boss and saying, "Can you put me back in production?" Which is laughable, you know, because anybody who's worked behind the scenes and who has wanted to get in front of the camera, when you get that moment, there's no way in your head you think that you want to go back.
Yeah.
Until you look around and you go, "Oh, this some bull spit. Send me back to production." I've wanted to go for a long time because I've understood that it was a big mountain, and even if I climbed to the top, there'd be nothing waiting. And that was the moment when I went, "Oh, Lord." Now my job, they had already hired somebody for my old job. So I'm like, well, damn, now my old job isn't there. So I just got to keep going. And then 3 years later, I'm like, all right, F it, I just got to go. Because the longer you stay somewhere, the more and more comfortable and less likely you are to leave. So I just was like, all right, let's do it. Let's get uncomfortable and see what happens.
So I remember it was like in December. Was it December? You took a break and they did this big casting just to have somebody sit in your seat for like 30 days to a month while you went on.
No, it was 2 weeks.
2 weeks? While you went, I knew it was a
long stretch.
Yeah. A stretch of time. And then when you came back, I was really like bothered at the fact that you were no longer there.
What do you mean? Oh, you mean like came back and then now I'm gone?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it wasn't.
And I'm like, was that
anything? No, it wasn't planned. Is that your question? Was it planned?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
I think that was like, for a lot of people around me, we was like, wait.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
It was really, really weird.
Sometimes life happens that way. You know, I went to Egypt. That was where I went. That was my vacation.
Yeah, it was a beautiful trip.
It was so beautiful, man. You know, sometimes when you go away and you come back, it gives you that third eye. And then you see everything that you saw, but you see it in a different way.
Clearer.
Much more clear. It gives you that 2020. So I think that trip was needed in order for me to take that next step.
And feel comfortable with the jump of actually
leaving. Right.
Oh,
no, feel comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, because without leaving, you know, everything stays the same. Everything's okay. Don't worry about it. But when you leave, you get so uncomfortable. But that's when you win, though. I'm telling you, everyone who's afraid to be uncomfortable, that is where you win, I promise. Unless you're one of those people who sinks. You know, it's like fight or flight. Some people flight, then you might want to stay comfortable.
But you know, those people, I think they actually know that. And those are the people that stay right within them. And they like the system and they work the system, you know? So, hey, it's two of us.
Yeah.
You're either that or you're this.
Girl, you take your pick and you make it work for you. Don't make nobody make you feel bad for staying or leaving. It's your decision.
Yeah. One day we're going to get comfortable enough in a spot where we're like, this is where we are, or maybe one day we never will.
I don't think I'll ever get comfortable. I can't see myself ever being satisfied. I'm
Yeah.
that person who must do something else.
How do you feel knowing that you would never get comfortable or feel
It makes me
satisfied?
feel better about life, you know. I don't ever want to be stagnant. So the fact that I feel like I'll never be comfortable assures me that I'll never not grow.
Yeah. See, I think I want to get to the point to where I'm like, I arrived.
Do you think that'll happen?
I don't think
And if
so.
you do, where is that point?
I don't think I will. I think I came to terms that that arriving point is not going to happen because once I, achieve something that I wanted and I arrived at that point,
I did it
I'm always like,
already.
what's next?
What's
What's
next?
next?
It's
What's
done.
next? What's next?
I'm telling you.
And I'm not even, and sometimes I'm like, okay, if next is unfolding this to be something bigger or grander, same thing, big, grand, be something grander. I'm always like, how can I make it better? So it never allows me to just be comfortable within anything that's around me. It's
That's gonna
always
make you
forever
great.
changing.
That's why
But it
you
makes
gonna
me
be
crazy,
it.
girl.
You feel crazy, but if you're crazy, I'm crazy, and I'm not crazy. So we're not gonna say that. It makes you feel crazy, but that's your saying, being that crazy.
You walk with a lot of grace.
Oh, you do too.
No, seriously. Thank you. But you walk with a lot of grace. Just watching you not be on that platform and then you speak about it and then also being on the hunt and being very transparent like I want this job. I want to work in this market, but then also starting things on your own, having your Instagram lives. And also, I saw on an interview that you did, you said you wrote your first episode. I'm not going to tell you what the name is, but I wrote my first episode.
And I'm not gonna tell y'all.
But when is it coming out? When can we expect it? Can you give us a little bit more? Because that was in March.
Right, and now I'm on, I think, episode 4. But outside of radio, I'm also a writer. So I have many TV shows that I have already copywritten and that I'm still working on. So that show, honestly, it might have been another show I might have already started. So I have many in the canister, multiple episodes on all of them, and I want to be able to sell these shows off or get with some great videographers and build the shows. I started a production company in my, I guess, time of what am I going to do next. And my ultimate goal was to connect different people with my vision and to help them with their vision. A networking club, I guess you could call it, for creatives. So any and everything that I'm working on, I am working on that and then some because I need to be able to have multiple shows going at one time. I feel like my whole name, my real name is Umoja, and Mo came from Umoja. Umoja is Swahili for unity, and I truly feel like my calling in life is to bring people together because I have a strong voice and I have a platform. It's making it easier for me, but even when I didn't have those things back at Fort Valley, I'd still do that. I'd set up video shoots for whoever was singing at the time, and I'd use whoever had the dopest cars. I'd use the guy who had the camera, and I bring everybody together. No one was making any money. We didn't really do anything with it, but I created because I like to create, and I brought people together because I like to bring people together, and that's what I'm doing. So when will you see it? It may not even be the it you're talking about, because
Right.
there's so many it's going on right now, but it will be soon.
Nice. Have you sharpened or developed any new skills during this quarantine?
Girl, I know everybody out here cooking, cleaning, bitches out here working out. Like, everybody got all these new skills. I honestly started animating, which is really crazy.
No, that's cool.
It is, but it's kind of crazy too because I want to be on a cartoon, right? But where are you going to find this cartoon? So I'm like, well, I'm just going to make my own cartoon. So I have like 4 episodes written, but the animating part is so hard. Oh my God. It's taking up like all of my time.
What platform are you developing it on?
Oh, I'm using Adobe Animate.
Yeah.
I'm using Adobe Illustrator and I'm using Adobe Fresco.
Isn't it amazing how you being a creator, you are like, okay, let me get hands-on with my own project. So when I do bring somebody on, I know how to speak the language and just
do you mean?
translate that. Like, once you learn a system, then once you find somebody that's like a genius within the system, you can say, hey, like I want this done and I want it to be set up like this, and you speak the same language as them, but not fully, but you already put your hands
fluent.
Yeah, you put your hands on the software
Yeah.
so you can kind of explain it a little bit more. Like I'll indulge in what I speak on my team. Sometimes I'm on like YouTube or I'm watching different shows just to build this Ladies Room Live platform. And I find things and I'm like, okay, I want this. So I'll go and I'll talk to my team because they're behind the scenes.
Girl.
And I'm like, hey, I want this. And they look at me cross-eyed. Because I don't know what behind the scenes is totally like.
Oh,
because
what it's
I'm not
take to get
I'm
what
not
you're
really
looking
well
for.
versed, especially when it comes to the editing part. So what I'll do is I'll watch shows and I'll
You
like,
see what they do. Can y'all make me this big too? They like.
I'll just see,
no,
but you know,
Chanel.
you can watch a whole bunch of different shows
Yeah.
and they'll show you so many different things, but you only take bits and pieces of what you like to infuse into your project. So I'll find something and then I'll go on my computer and I'm like Google searching and I'm, you know, YouTubing away and then I'll figure it out and I'm like, okay, this is what I want and I found this program. This program is going to teach us how to do this. And I know you work off all these systems. Can you do this?
Do they look at you like that again, or do they go, oh?
No, they say, yeah, we can do this because da 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 da. But sometimes I have to go and do my own research
So that you can speak a little bit of the language that you don't really speak. Yeah, hell yeah. But I feel like I want to be the professional in animation. So I'm not necessarily learning the software to be able to translate better, but I want to be the person that you call when Chanel wants to start her cartoon.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
It's like another thing to do that stream. I'm sure you've heard that billionaires, millionaires, they have 7 streams of income. So I'm trying to pick up those streams and understand what I can do with my hands and my head that I don't have to. My husband pushes for school. I'm not going back to school, Greg, okay? I want to learn what I can do on my own to make this money, period.
You don't ever debate going back to school?
I don't have to debate. I'm not going. But I have to debate because he wants me to.
Yeah.
Does that sound weird?
It's a respect level.
It is, but he's a school guy. He's a chemist, a biology guy or whatever. So he like wears lab coat and tests things all day. So to him, school's the only way. And I'm like, nigga, I'm a creative. Okay.
So, I like how these opposite attract.
Isn't that crazy? Girl, I'll be trying to teach him how to do stuff. He be trying to teach me how to do stuff. I'll be like, I'm not trying to learn this chemistry. Can you get that out of my face?
But
so
isn't
cute.
it kind of like, have you ever dated someone that was in your world?
And
like
it sucks.
Yeah.
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 It sucks. DJs, promoters, rappers. I mean, they're good people individually.
Or just other creators, like somebody that's a creator just
They're
like
creatives.
you. No, I'm saying like dating just a creative, period.
Yeah, they suck. But I suck sometimes too. So I understand why they suck. You know, we're really indulged in ourselves, you know.
But then you
that we
date
work
in the
on.
opposite, it's like a complete.
And it's comfortable. You know, anything I'm not into, he is into. So I don't have to be the financial guru of the group. Like he gets how to, like we were talking about stocks earlier. He understands stocks. I don't get that but he is investing in them. So I don't have to. Yay! Yay! So it's good when you have the opposite of you, because anything you're not great at, they can pick up your slack.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's good.
So how is it being married and being in the entertainment field?
It's much better. When you're single, you're so unfocused. You got so much going on.
Really?
Girl, well, my single life was always filled with so many DMs. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? I'm like, oh,
like
he
this
kind of
voice.
cute. Oh, hey, what's up? Yeah. So I'm like, okay, let me find somebody who I can just be happy to come home to, because then I'm not home. You know, I'm doing this and doing this and doing this and blah, blah, blah. But now I got a family at home, so I need to get my butt home. And now that I'm home, I get to work on things. I get to organize and plan. You know, I'm not running the streets, as my mom say. I am grounded, and having a family keeps me grounded. And for anybody in the entertainment industry, I suggest, if you don't already know how to ground yourself, get a family. They'll ground you.
Do you feel like being a married woman in the entertainment industry, you're taken a little bit more serious than being single?
No. They
Within
still
the work-
see a vagina.
No. I would see it so different.
Girl, bad. These is Negroes. Negroes see vagina. and they sniff it out. And I'll be like, excuse me, sir, not here for that. Sure you're not. I'll be like, okay, well, just, no, it's no
So
different.
I'm gonna let you be.
Okay, because
And I'm gonna
sometimes
do
you
what
can't.
I need to do.
Girl,
Yeah.
sometimes you just got to leave them alone.
You
Guys
do.
are
You have to
such
leave them
guys.
exactly where they are, and you have to stay focused on what you're doing,
Yes,
no matter
ma'am.
what it may be.
I'm telling you.
So let's go into mistakes. What are 3 industry mistakes that you feel like you made that you've overcome and you made sure that you're not going to make them anymore?
Ooh, mistakes. I've done so many mistakes in my career. All been learning experiences, of course. I think my biggest mistake that I didn't really understand was making that transition from intern to worker and not understanding the corporate and the business side of radio. We have so much fun. So oftentimes you forget it's an actual place of business. It's a professional place of business. So I had to learn what a paper trail was. Some people don't know what a paper trail is.
Explain the paper trail, because I don't know what a paper trail is.
When they keep papers on your ass.
Oh.
Like, you missed work that one day, we gonna send you an email.
Okay,
You
I
were
know
late,
what
we're sending you an email. You had an altercation with someone, we're sending you an email. We're collecting all of these issues so that when it's time to fire you, you can't sue, you can't say they were wrong, you can't say anything, because now we have a paper trail on your ass. So as a young professional, you're very impulsive. You know, you just do stuff. When you're mad, you're mad. When you're happy, you're happy. But when you're mad, you might do things out of your emotion. And you have to understand to separate your emotion from your professional life, because a paper trail is coming after you. And you need to not need no trails. We leave in no trails, no traces. Do what you're supposed to do so that there isn't one. And if you're having an issue with someone, email it so that you have your own paper trail. So if you say, I told my manager that I'm allergic to nuts. This never happens. I'm allergic to nuts. He keeps putting nuts in the studio. And he says, you never told me that. You pull up your email. Yes, I did. March 15th at 5 o'clock. He's got nothing to say. You covered all of your bases. You have a paper trail. That was a mistake and learned, and I have been so efficient after that paper trail. Number 2, don't get drunk.
That was very, very good to
know,
highlight.
Right? Girl,
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Don't get drunk at events. Sounds like you should know that already, duh. But when you're young, you see an open bar, you like, oh, shoot. Y'all ain't tell me it was free. No, girl. People looking at you, don't get drunk. Rick Ross had invited us to his birthday party. I'm like, it's a birthday party, right? Oh my God, I got wasted. I was talking to Zulu, Shaka Zulu, his brother. I was talking to Young Dolph. I was talking to everybody, drunk as hell. Shawty told me about myself the next day. I was like, damn, that was crazy. He was like, no, man, you can't do that. I was like, what you mean? Everybody was drunk. No, you were drunk. I was like, oh shit. I had met some people that I had met at Bossip that night, and I had met them somewhere else. And they were like, oh, it's you. And I'm like, me, nigga, I don't know you. And he was like, you remember at Rick Ross's party? I'm like, no, I was drunk. He was like, I know. I was like, God dang. So I had to learn that lesson. The open bar isn't
Well,
for
at least
you.
you learned that early in, though.
Girl, I was already on the morning show. That ain't early.
Well, it's a mistake that you're not going to make now moving
There
forward.
you go.
So
at least I learned it.
Yeah.
And I won't make it again. Now I just walk past the bar, give me a little cranberry juice, bitch. Keep it moving. So the third industry mistake, I would maybe just say everyone isn't your friend. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes in the industry, because it's such a comfortable one, at least in the entertainment industry, you assume that everyone who's smiling and everyone who's saying, hey girl, how you been, is a friend or at least a good associate. And then you find out when you lose a job, they're not your friends. They're not your associates. They're not people who you should confide in. Don't tell people your business because you want to. Sometimes when you're around someone every day, maybe 5 or 6 hours a day, they begin to become close to you. You start saying things like, oh, such and such get on my nerves. And then they find out who you like, who you don't like, what you're doing, what you're not doing, and they could use it against you. If they're trying to go for the same job you're going for, or if they have the ear of a boss and you're up for something, but they want someone else to get it, it's just really manipulative in the industry, so you can't get caught up in the hype, and you can't get caught up in who and who isn't your friend. You just got to keep your head down and keep working, because you're not there to make friends. And that is a really big mistake that I'm still learning to this day, because people wear those faces. You know, you see them this time, they got this face on. You see them the other time, they got this face on. And they're just swapping out these faces, and you got to see people through all seasons before you're able to put your finger on which face is the real face. So you just got to keep your eyes open.
So how did you find, this just led me to think about this. So I was so eager to just jump in and ask, how do you find people to confide in? How do you find, and also how do you find like a good person to like mentor you in it? Because you would confide in that person with some things.
You have to keep your eyes open. I'm not saying that everyone is out to get you, but you have to know and have a great discernment to who is genuine and who isn't, because not everyone is. When it comes to telling people your business, try not to, at least personal business, things like, I don't know, maybe if you're in a domestic violence situation, or if you can't pay your rent that day, or, I mean, things that you shouldn't tell people anyway. And you think that, well, if I tell this person, it's okay because they're my friend. No, they're not. Mentors, that's a hard one, because they are supposed to be there for you to confide in. You know, if that's not what they're there for, then what are they there for? Right. So I would say not everyone is your mentor. So figure out who you believe is your mentor. Again, with the seasons, see them through summer, spring, fall, and all over again. The winter, you know, you can't see them in a couple of months and then think this is a great person. You got to see them the next couple of months. Are they still that same great person? Because the longer time you spend with someone, the more you get to see who they really are. So before you start popping off at the mouth, just wait, sit back, keep your distance until you truly know who is and who isn't there for you. I can't speak specifics because everyone's situation is different. I would just try to say, keep your eyes open.
Eyes and ears.
Yeah.
Speaking of mentors, how did you find yours? And how many mentors do you have?
That's the better question. How many am I supposed to have? I want to say 3. Even though I like to call a lot of people my mentor, because I call on people for mentorship. But not everyone do I confide in. Not everyone, my mentors have heard me cry. No one really sees me cry, you know, because that's not, one of my mentors told me, that's not something you should be doing at your job. And I mean, crying, even when it comes back to that, I was actually told by a mentor, don't ever cry in social settings or at your job. For women, I mean, she wasn't talking about men, because a lot of people think that when we cry, we're weak, we're emotional, we can't make decisions, we're rash, so just don't cry. Just don't do it. But when you cry, that means that you are comfortable and you are confiding. So my mentors, who I call my mentors, they have seen me cry, because these are the people who I have been with since I was 17, 18, 19 years old. Now at 28, 10 years later, these are the people who I have faithfully been able to call on. They get me in and out of situations. And that is how I know that they are not only someone who I can ask for advice, but they're someone who I can confide in as well. Because I ask advice everybody all over the place. So I honestly feel like I have a lot of mentors. But the people who I actually consider to be my mentors, there's 3 of them. J Tech, shout out to you. Bill Black, love you. And Sasha the Diva. Because you have to have a female mentor if you're a female.
I hear you call her a lot.
I love her. She was my first mentor. She was the one who literally took me under her wing, like driving her car, meet her husband, her son, you know, tell me about the makeup and the hair and the heels. Like, she's the one who shapes you. Oh, Lord. That ain't even the word.
Very. I met her at your event, the second one that you had.
Oh, yes. Yeah. The women. Oh, man, I love my ladies. I'm telling you, I love women, because we are such special creatures and we're so different. You know, and it's like that real sisterhood that you feel, that if I'm doing this great thing, I have got to pull at least 3 more of you guys up.
It's your business in order for you to do it.
My business.
You have to own it in that
Absolutely.
way.
Yeah, so that's the mentor. So I have 3, and the way that I got them, I met Sasha at the job. She was doing a radio show, and I was doing the show that came on before her. I was just there learning how to run the boards. I didn't even have an internship with the station she was with. One of my teachers from Fort Valley sent me over there to learn the boards from a producer just for that day. It wasn't even an ongoing thing. And I met her that day. When she came to her shift, she was like, hey, you should stay doing my show too. And I did. She had interviewed Angie Stone that day, and she wowed me. I was in awe of Sasha, and I called her every day after that, text her. I was at every event she had, and I was at Fort Valley. She's in Atlanta. So I'm driving back in the middle of the week. Got class at 8, come back at 12, and just keep that train going, because you need a strong mentor to help you. Bill, I met him when I was an actual intern at the radio station. That's probably going to be the easiest place for you to meet your mentor, when you're actually working with someone. Sometimes people get distant when you just approach them. Hey, my name is such and such. I want you to mentor me. You're like, who are you? You know, so you want to be able to be comfortable and to make a genuine connection. That doesn't work for everybody, but if you're trying to have me as your mentor, I don't like awkward. You know, I don't like forced. I like things to flow. So if you're just asking the question, like when your guys, they say, can I kiss you? I got to shut that down. So you just made this really weird. Either you're going to kiss me or you're not.
At least you shut it down. I'm always just like sinking in the seat.
Like don't ask me. Like you just broke. If there was a mood, you've killed it.
All the way. It's dead.
So don't kill the mood, okay, guys? Let the mood be set. And that's like the best way. For advice for me, it doesn't work for everyone, but to find you a mentor, a good one.
And I think genuine connections within your mentorship is classic.
Yeah.
Because how are you going to be able to open up? And how is that person going to be able to open up to you, or even learn who you are, and vice versa?
Absolutely.
So I think that's great advice. You touched on something, and I think it should definitely be highlighted, how when women cry at the workplace or just even show emotion, sometimes they're looked at as weak. But, you know, in society, when men show emotion, it's looked at like, that's passion.
No, that's weak too. It's unfortunate, but men can't show emotion either. So we can't say that. Because when you see a man cry...
So? Not really cry, but maybe like get angry or get excited in a certain way. Okay, well
that's a difference.
Yeah, but not cry. Not emotion to where like it always has to make a person like look weak, or you're like, what's wrong with them because they are sharing tears. But so far as like you see a man get overly excited or get overly upset, and like, you know, he may smack the table or, you know, kind of say something out of line, he gets more of a pass for that, because it's like he's being passionate about his job. Or when a woman does it, she can't handle. Do you ever feel like you have experienced anything like that within your growth within radio or in entertainment?
Well, let me say this. There's a difference in emotions. So crying, I would say that is when we are definitely 100% considered weak. Say when you get stressed out and you don't know how to handle that situation, you feel that tear right here. I will smack a bitch before I let that tear drop. Because to me, that is, you can't handle this.
Yeah.
Now, anger is another emotion. I have no issue getting angry or upset. I have no issue yelling. I have no issue snapping on people. And instead of that being weak, they consider that bitch-like. So for a man to yell, like you said, it's no issue with that. He's being a man. His aggression is understood. For a woman to yell, she's a bitch. Oh my God.
100%.
And I'll say, yeah, I'm a bitch. What's up? Because sometimes you have to own it. You know, because you already know that they're going to put it over your head. So before you put it over my head, I'll just give you what you think you have already. I'll let you know what I think you're thinking. And if I'm wrong, sure, you can come, oh no, Mo, you're not a bitch. I wasn't thinking that. Sure, you can say that if you want to. But I'm going to let you know what I think you're thinking. Because I feel like that has the most power for me. Being able to own it, say it, and put it back in someone's face. Sometimes people consider that difficult in the workplace, man or woman. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're a person who yells a lot, who gets upset a lot, who's angry often, you are considered difficult, and not many people are going to work with you. So when you are choosing to show that emotion, try not to make it a consistent thing, try not to make it an everyday thing, and be okay with that emotion that you're showing. But ladies, don't cry, okay? Whatever you do, they expect us to cry. They want us to cry. They're waiting for that tear. Get upset before you get sad, Before you cry, just start yelling. It always works. My tears go away. Now I'm just upset. Just don't cry. Lord have mercy. And no,
that's a great tactic.
It hasn't
Before
necessarily
it drops,
affected me.
just get upset.
Just get mad.
Start
yelling.
Go ape shit, okay?
I'm telling you, because you don't ever want to be the crier. I mean, I've seen it. And even me, I'm mad at her. Girl, you crying. You done set us back 30 years. Girl, get your shit together. Go to the bathroom. Why are you crying right now?
I kind of hate the crier, too.
Even if I want to be her, you can't.
Yeah, just get in your car and cry on the way home. Like, call your mama.
Don't do that. Please, girl, no. Setting us back.
Well, let's talk about your kids. You have a beautiful son.
Mm-hmm.
Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
No, I understand the connection.
Oh, no, Egypt.
Yeah. But your baby girl, like, I'm so fascinated by your baby girl.
Me too.
You thought she was a boy.
I know. Okay.
Everyone thought she was a boy.
There's the backstory, right?
Yeah, you have this beautiful baby shower, boy, blue, everything, the name engraved. Girl. Everyone is excited. Another boy. Did you kind of want a girl?
Oh, it was open. Okay. I wanted a girl. That was not anyone's secret. I was on air talking about guys, I found out it was a boy today. But yeah, I wanted a girl. And I was so happy when we found out. We didn't find out until the day before my due date. And it was just a routine, them shifting around in there to see what's going on. And I think I had said something about the name that made the doctor think, because me and my husband, we were, I think, at Chick-fil-A or just something eating, and we got a voicemail. I didn't see my phone ring, and the voicemail was like, hey, this is Dr. Such and Such. You guys call me as soon as you can. I think there's been a mix-up. And we were like, whoa, that could be anything. Like, we are
Is
afraid.
it two babies and not one baby?
We weren't even thinking about that. He didn't even get that specific. We're thinking it might be blood work that's wrong. The due date might be wrong. We had no idea. We're freaking panicking. So we called the doctor's office, and the guy, he says, oh, well, Miss Quigg, it's nothing. Don't be worried. But you said something about the name. You do know it's a boy, right? And we're like, right? I know you do. It's a girl, right? And we were like, huh? A girl? My husband almost killed himself. Of course he wants a boy. I mean, that is all they want. It's damn boys. But now he's so in love with his daughter, obviously. But he was like, oh my God, he's all crying, he's upset. You're physically and emotionally drained at the end of the pregnancy. All you want is the baby, So to find out something like that, that's a big old stress on us. We have already got the room together. We have engraved the name on things. Everything is blue and white, and we had to do everything all over again. The day before the babies, it was so stressful. But she's here now, and we love her so much.
She's so pretty.
She wears some blue things. Don't think we threw everything out. She got brown. She got little teddy bears and lions and stuff on stuff. That's fine.
You just incorporated in the mix.
But she has some pink stuff, too. But I'm so in love with her, man. She was watching me get dressed earlier. And I was looking at her like, girl, as soon as them little nails is long enough, we about to get them done. I am so excited. She's awesome.
She's so cute.
She's so
I
cute.
was like blown away looking at this. I'm like,
is that for real?
Like, but how, like in this day and age, like how does something like that happen?
That's what we said. They were like, we're sorry. It might have been, they said it might have been the umbilical cord sticking up in between her legs to make it look like a penis. And since they didn't send us the blood work, because you're supposed to not only visually test it, but you're also supposed to have blood work to back it up.
Right.
Now, we didn't get the blood work. We only got him saying, it's the boy.
And it's the same doctor.
It's the same freaking doctor. And he was black. We made sure we went with a Negro. See how y'all do?
Don't.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But y'all be tripping.
I know you're frustrated. I'll be frustrated too. I would be frustrated too.
I was like, sir, what is wrong with you? Do you know we had the whole entire baby? Now we got to show her these baby shower pictures when she gets older. And she going to be like, why is everybody in blue, Mom?
She may just laugh at it though. But honestly, when you said that he said, I was thinking about the name, you told me that it was a boy. How many months ago? 4 or 5 months ago?
Girl, I'm
you're
sure
not
he done
reviewing
seen so many people.
But you're not reviewing the charts before you come in the room. Like, okay, she's having a girl. Like, da 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 da.
No one ever went back over it. I mean, because you know, when working in a doctor's office for paternity, maternity, at the very least, you're gonna have multiple doctors in one practice because if you can imagine, that doctor has to be on call any time of the day or night.
Of course, I don't have a child. So.
But
imagine
tell us. If you have 6 pregnant women, you can't just be going back and forth to the delivery room. So you have to have a group of doctors that you work with that someone can be on call. Absolutely. Your team, you're not going to be on call 24/7. You got to sleep sometime. So even though we had multiple doctors we were working with and he is our main doctor, no one ever mentioned the sex again. Out of the whole process, we heard it that one time, and that was it, until we got a voicemail. And I'm like, y'all know. But then we went with 3D Girls Inc. I mean, was it 3D Girls Inc.? 3D Ultrasound. 3D Girls Ultrasound. So we definitely had to go and get a second opinion even after they told us. We were like, nah, we just about to go. We got a 3D ultrasound.
To clear all this up.
We got a 3D ultrasound from Little Angels. That was the name of the company. Just to clear it out because like you said, it could be 3 babies in there, all we know. Y'all done got it wrong this far. Now we just need to see before they get here is to make sure we are fully prepared.
And you was about to have the baby, so I know your nerves were like,
girl, on 1,000. But she was like a week late, 2 weeks late. She was like 2 weeks late.
You were your pregnancy well, though. You look beautiful.
You, girl, thank you. The first one was not Egypt. I was so terrible. Girl, I had to learn about cocoa butter.
It was your first one.
I know, right? It gets better, though. So all our moms, even when you decide to have yours, it gets better the first time. The second time is way easier. You're way more in control, you know. The first one is just, you're so scared.
You're like, I'm true to this. Come on.
Now I'm ready,
the baby
right?
dropped, she didn't turn.
I already know. I'm telling the doctor, well, doesn't that mean that it's a such and such? While I'm rubbing, he's like, so do you want to do this?
Or do you want to let me do this? It's like the Pamper Hug Love brand. It's like the first baby gets all the expensive Pampers.
That commercial.
And then you get the second baby, and it's like, you hold the baby to the stranger. Let me get some loves, cheaper diapers that still work.
I'm telling you.
So how did the name of the baby come since you already had a name, everything engraved? Now it's a girl. How did you decide on her name?
Gabriel and Gabrielle.
But is that something that you always wanted if it was a girl?
No. That was Greg's choice. I allowed him to choose the name this time around. So I was like, do you think?
G and G, so it makes.
He needed a G.
I like her.
I was like, okay, I wanted something like Amina, Samaya. You know, I'm real cultured. I'm trying to think outside of the white man box. He was like, we need her to get a job. I'm like,
well, there's somebody big in Hollywood named Gabrielle Union. Wait, so at least we do have a black representation.
Her. No, but I'm talking about the name.
Yeah.
You know, I needed a black person name. He needed a job name. And I'm like, just you saying that is ever more reason why she needs a black name. We debated it, but I let him win, and her name is Gabrielle, and we love her.
Just by you even saying that, it explains the opposites of you two, and you guys still kind of making it
meshing
work.
It together, girl.
That's beautiful. I like it. Well, do you have anything else that you want to tell the Ladies Room Live viewers? I think you're a strong woman. I learned so much about you.
Aww.
You've inspired me so much. I think you inspired my team as well. I can say and speak for them. I hope they say yeah, and I'm pretty sure they will be raving about you once you're all gone and we're like wrapping this whole thing up. But honestly, I've been to 3 of your events. The first one I was on, so thank you for having me on that platform. I was like, wow, I've been doing this much? Because, you know, at that time, I don't even think I've been in the city for a whole year.
No, I met you in Alabama. I didn't meet you in Atlanta.
You did at Diamond's event, but I wasn't even living in Atlanta for an entire year. I drove there to support her for that.
No, I didn't know that.
So I was like, wow, okay. But I've been to two others after that, and I sat in the audience, took notes. So if you guys are in Atlanta or planning to come to Atlanta, like if Mo Quick has any event, she is full of information, especially about the entertainment industry. She's full of inspiration, not just information, but inspiration, especially if you're a woman and you want to know how to be strong and still be poised in the industry. I am so happy that you came on because I've learned a lot and I appreciate you so much.
If you can remember, you were at my very first Quick Media ever, you guys. I invented Quick Media to find interns. That was literally the only reason I had my first Quick Media. It did so well, I just kept going and reintroducing new topics every time. So along with me being an awesome personality in the media industry, I have a calling to teach other people. Now, I love women, so yet, ladies, I will definitely say I am more catered towards women. I'm sorry. Sometimes they call me misogynistic, even though I'm a woman, so how the heck could I be? But they say that, I hate guys. I don't know. That's what people say about me, but I don't. I just
Which
understand.
is odd because you're happily married.
Come on. I just know that we're much better, so that's the only thing. I really appreciate being able to teach what I know, to teach what I learned, and to bring people who are masters in their craft to teach other people. So I am on my 6th Quick Media. I won't have it until 2021 for obvious reasons. COVID done took over the world, literally, and I don't want to be the person who's opening the doors too soon. So I'm gonna do that 2021. So if you're interested in the industry, it's not just myself. I bring people who are the top of their industry, who are hiring managers, who are leaders, people who know and understand how to give back. Not everybody likes to give back, guys. That's just the fact of life. So I bring people who will take an hour after we're done to look at your resumes, to hear your song, to look at that air check and that visual demo. And I'm really interested in working with people who want to work, content creators. So outside of Quick Media, if you go to my website, moquickproductions.com, you can sign up for Quick Media, of course. But if you want to be a creative, if you're an artist, if you're an actor, a writer, director, videographer, I have a production company, Mo Quick Productions, but it is catered just towards content creators. This is the digital age. If we haven't learned through COVID-19 that digital footprint is the most important thing you can be doing right now, we ain't learned nothing. Obviously, if we can't connect one-on-one, the only other way we connect is through this massive web that we have. So I want to be able to give people the opportunity in order to get their content created. A lot of times we have the want to, but we don't have the know-how. We don't have the ability because we may not have the money, or we don't have the network to give you the professional, to give you that look you're looking for. So with this network that I'm trying to put together, am currently putting together, full of creatives, I just want to be able to cultivate talents and bring talents together to help cultivate each other and create that community. So if that is you, if you were interested, you can go to my email, moquickproduction, no S, @gmail, and just put, Mo, I'm ready to create. And we'll go from there. And you tell me what it is you do and how we can help.
I love that.
Thanks.
Keep it simple. Mo, I'm ready to create.
Period. Don't do no long spiel. I done did this, I done did this, blah, blah, blah. That's okay. Just tell me you ready.
You heard her. Say I'm ready, and then she'll bring you right in. One thing I want to say about you, Mo Quick, is that you're a beautiful person. I learned so much from you. Thank you for even introducing your platform that you're going to be bringing back 2021. I suggest everyone out there that's watching this video to make sure you go. I went 3 times, and I learned something different from each and every one of them. The first time she welcomed me on the platform, and I was wild because I was sitting next to a program director that was on stage. I was sitting next to another person that's been in the industry for 20 years, but everybody had a different story, and it was like a roller coaster ride. And I honor you for that because a lot of people, as you did say, aren't willing to give. So thank you so much for giving to people, and thank you so much for tailoring your giving towards women because we need more of that.
Oh,
That's what the whole
thanks.
Ladies Room Live platform is, and we are here to celebrate you every day. So if you have anything that you want to, bring back to the Ladies Room Live platform because you need to do an announcement or you just want to gravitate towards more networks, bring it back and
Oh,
we'll be
thank
sure to
you.
share.
Okay, I appreciate you too, Chanel.
No
And yes,
problem.
I did have you on. And you know why? Because you are stunning. First time I saw you, I was like, dang, she bad. Hold up, wait a minute. But you're stunning with your personality too,
Thank you.
man. You know, it's a lot of times when you're so cute, people assume she's the B word. But you are
Wait, you said a
vibrant.
bitch last time. You won't say a bitch this time?
Well, no, because I'm pointing at you.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Okay, I ain't trying to have that fight. I don't want people to get sidetracked because it's one thing to be beautiful on the outside, but girl, you are beautiful on the inside, and that's why you're
you.
gonna win. So thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And so are you. That's why we're going to win. We're going
Absolutely.
to win because we're beautiful on the inside and outside. So thank you so much. I love you. I'm going to give you a hug when all the cameras are off. Kiss those babies for me.
Hello, gorgeous. Yes, I am Mo Quick, and I have some really interesting things that you might want to be a part of. You can always come to moquickproductions.com to see what we have going on, to become a part of Quick Media. Yes, that is a social networking, learning kind of thing that I always put together, so you don't want to miss the next event, I promise. And if you're a creative and you want to submit to Mo Quick Productions, you can always use my Gmail, moquickproductionnos@gmail.com. Let me know what you do and let me know you're ready to work. If you're in Atlanta, we gon' make magic, okay? Now I'm right here in Ladies Room Live and I am loving it.